Hi, everybody. I'm Pierre Bouvard, Chief Insights Officer here at Cumulus Media and Westwood One. And what is the current state of the great American commute among marketers, media agencies, and the average American? Over the last 3 years, we here at the Cumulus Media and Westwood One Audioactive Group have been conducting a series of consumer studies on the commute. We've also been working with advertiser perceptions to track the great commute among marketers and media agencies. So we have a brand new study to share with you today. We fielded a study with advertiser perceptions of the commuting habits of marketers and media agencies in April, just a few weeks ago. And simultaneously, we conducted a study of average Americans. Using Maru, we surveyed 1,020 average Americans on their commute. So let's get right into the state of the media agency commute, try to understand how much time they're spending at home and how much they're spending at work. This study has been conducted twice previously, April of 22, October of 22, and now most recently in April of 23. So if you look at the top line there, the number of marketers that say I am commuting most or all days grew pretty dramatically from last April to last October and inched up another 3 points this April. So now 37% of media agencies and marketers saying they are commuting to work most, if not all days. There's a chunk in the low 40s that's been pretty consistent that says they're commuting some days. And then those that were only working from home has been dipping down 37 to 23 to 19. Now, average Americans, looking back over the past 3 years, quickly got back to work. You can see pretty much 2 years ago, in June of 21, the vast majority of working Americans were back to work. The first couple of years of this study was conducted by Nielsen, and the last two studies have been conducted by Maru using the same questions of average Americans. So really, 86% of those that used to commute pre-pandemic are back to commuting. So there's actually more Americans that are commuting at 86% than marketers and media agencies at 81%. Now let's dive into the marketers and media agencies to understand how many days per week are they commuting. And you can definitely see there's some change going on here. To the left of your screen, those that are commuting 1 to 3 days has actually dropped pretty significantly, especially the 3-day folks. And where are they going? 5 days. You can see the proportion of marketers and media agencies that are now back to work full time has gone from 22 to 26, now to 36% in the most recent April 23 reading. So when you average the number of days marketers and media agencies are commuting, it's inching up. 3 days a year ago, 3.5, now 3.7. Now, how does that compare to the average American? Well, the average American is at work way more days than the typical marketer and media agency. 5.3 is the most recent days work per week, according to Maru's study conducted just this past April. Now, you might wonder, why is it 5.3? Why is it actually more than typical 5-day week? If you look here in blue, which are the average Americans, and the gray is the marketers and media agencies, average Americans, there's a chunk of them, 6%, that are working a 6-day week, and then some 7% that are working 7 days a week. So when you average it up, it comes out to actually more than a typical 5-day week. Now, what about those marketers and media agencies that are working from home full time? What is their sense on when they're going to be getting back to the office full time? And the answer is no time soon. Those that says I am not returning back to the workplace full time has gone from 34 to 55%. Part of that is just because A bunch of them have already returned back to work. And then the remaining just simply don't know. Um, what about in-person meetings, conferences, and events, media vendor meetings among marketers and media agencies? We saw a big jump last year from April to October. Right now, 6 out of 10 marketers and media agencies taking in-person meetings. The most recent reading in April of 23 is pretty consistent from October. Most feel in the next year they'll be resuming these media vendor meetings, conferences, and events. Same story here. The big jump was April 22 to October 22. It's pretty consistent. 6 out of 10 are back to going to conferences and events, and the remaining say they'll be resuming going to these events in this coming year. So the key takeaways here, definitely marketers and media agencies have increased their commutes. They're increasing the number of days per week. They still lag behind average Americans. 81% of marketers and media agencies are now commuting to the office. That's up from 63% a year ago. 86% of average Americans who used to commute pre-pandemic are back to heading to the office. The average days per week, about 3.7 among marketers and media agencies, over 5 for the average American. So the average American is going to see billboards and outdoor advertising and hear radio commercials to a greater degree than those that work at a brand or at a media agency. And among those that are working from home in the advertising world, they do not see returning back to work full time, period, full stop. And the in-person meetings with media vendors and going to conferences, 6 out of 10 are back to doing that. And most think that's going to resume in the coming year. The Audio Active Group here at Cumulus Media in Westwood One is a full-service advisory for national marketers. We conduct measurement studies, creative testing, give media planning advice. Each and every week, we publish a new audio insight or case study. It can be found on our blog, and you can find it at cumulusmedia.com or westwood1.com. And while you're there, you can sign up to get a weekly email of our audio case study. Thanks so much for the opportunity to take you through the very latest on the current state of the great American commute among marketers, media agencies, and average Americans. Thanks so much.